Sometimes the souls who carry the most light also carry the heaviest battles, not because they're cursed, but because this world reacts differently to people who were never meant to stay asleep. And if you've spent your entire life feeling different, misunderstood, emotionally exhausted by things other people seem unaffected by, there's a reason for that. Because rare souls don't come into this world to live small, predictable lives. They come here to disrupt patterns, to awaken people, to carry light into places that were built on darkness. And whether you fully understand it yet or not, that's exactly who you are. You've felt it your entire life, haven't you? That strange feeling that you were seeing life from a completely different lens than everyone else. Like you could walk into a room and instantly feel the energy shift. Like you could sense fake intentions before people even opened their mouths. Like there was always something inside you that refused to fully go numb, even after everything you've been through. And honestly, that's part of why your journey has been so painful. Because people can tolerate someone who is asleep. But someone who carries awareness, someone who naturally exposes truth without even trying, that kind of presence unsettles people. And most of your life, you probably blamed yourself for it. You wondered if maybe you were too sensitive, too emotional, too intense, too different. But what if none of that was the problem? What if the real reason you've struggled is because your spirit was never built for shallow living? Think about it. Your soul has survived things that should have completely broken you. Betrayals, isolation, rejection, setbacks that came one after another with barely enough time to recover in between. And somehow, you're still here, still searching, still becoming, still trying to heal. That's not weakness, that's evidence. Because average souls don't survive the kind of spiritual pressure you've been forced to carry. There's a reason your path has felt lonely. The rarest souls are often separated early, not because they're unworthy of connection, but because isolation becomes the training ground for their transformation. While others were learning how to fit in, you were learning how to survive emotionally. While others were distracted by surface-level things, you were being pushed into deep self-reflection. And yes, it hurt. There were nights where you questioned your worth, moments where you wondered if life would ever stop testing you, times where you felt abandoned by people, by opportunities, maybe even by God. But sometimes separation is preparation, because if you had fully blended into the crowd, you might have forgotten who you were. And the truth is, your life was never supposed to be ordinary. You were never meant to spend your existence silencing your intuition just to make other people comfortable. That's why normal environments exhaust you. That's why forced conversations drain you. That's why your nervous system reacts so strongly to fake energy, manipulation, and emotional chaos. Your spirit recognizes things that most people ignore. And people can sense that about you too, even if they can't explain it. That's why some people become instantly drawn to you. Your presence feels calming to people who are tired of pretending. But on the flip side, your energy also exposes people who are deeply disconnected from themselves. And when someone spends their life hiding behind masks, authenticity feels threatening. That's why some people projected onto you. That's why certain attacks felt so random. That's why you've had moments where it felt like people hated you for simply existing. Because light naturally reveals things, and people who refuse to heal often attack whatever reminds them of what they're avoiding. But hear this clearly. Their inability to understand you does not make you unworthy. In fact, a lot of what you've experienced was confirmation that your energy carries impact. You were never invisible. You were powerful before you even realized it. That's also why your growth has been unconventional. Most people build confidence after receiving validation. You had to build yours without applause, without support, without stability. You had to keep rebuilding yourself while carrying emotional wounds that nobody else could even see. And that changes a person. It creates depth, wisdom, discernment, a kind of emotional intelligence that can't be taught in books. You stopped looking at life the same way because suffering forced you to search for something deeper. And now? You're entering a different phase. The version of you that constantly begged to be accepted is dying. You're starting to realize you were never supposed to shrink yourself to fit spaces that couldn't recognize your value. You're beginning to understand that your sensitivity is not a curse. It's discernment. Your intuition is not paranoia. It's awareness. Your emotional depth is not weakness. It's one of the reasons you're capable of transforming your pain into wisdom. And slowly, you're remembering your power again. Not loud power, not ego-driven power, but grounded power. The kind that comes from surviving things that almost destroyed you and still choosing to move forward anyway. That kind of strength changes a soul forever. And honestly, some of the biggest blessings in your life will arrive the moment you stop trying to prove your worth to people who were never capable of seeing it. Because your purpose was never tied to their approval. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. And despite everything you've been through, your story is not ending in survival mode. There is a reason you made it this far. There is a reason your spirit refused to quit. And there is a reason you still feel that pull deep inside you, that your life is meant for more. Because it is. One day, you're going to look back at this chapter and realize the isolation, the confusion, the setbacks, the heartbreak, were shaping you into someone far more powerful than you could see at the time. Not because pain is beautiful, but because you learned how to carry light without letting darkness turn you into it. And that is what makes you rare.